when everyone thought my sudden tumble was an attempt to scam them, and the goddess was about to catch her in her arms, I forcefully spun my body around and crashed right onto the soft childhood friend next to her. But at that critical split-second moment, that childhood friend held the watermelon in her hand high up. The two of us rolled onto the ground completely dazed. After a good 2 or 3 seconds, she hastily pushed me away to check on the watermelon. Once she made sure the watermelon was fine, she finally turned back to give me an awkward smile. "Yeah, Chen, you're okay, right?" At this point, I was just utterly speechless. Zhou Nianian actually only cared about the watermelon in her hand, as expected of Zhou Nianian. "Is your damn watermelon really that important?" "Oh no," Ye Chen called me by my full name. "I'm in deep trouble." The goddess, Tik Nyan, and the surrounding crowd were also completely stunned. Their strong survival instincts made them realize this was absolutely a life-or-death question. In their hearts, who would have thought that I, the main guy, was actually frozen in fear? Could it be a complete conditioned reflex? Alright, who knows? Which death-defying hero actually dared to shout out everyone's inner thoughts like that? A conditioned reflex. I let out a cold smirk and looked her up and down. Right after that, I reached out and pinched her soft cheek. "Your body sure is honest." As soon as the words left my mouth, I snatched the watermelon right out of her hand, turned around and walked straight out of the cafeteria, without looking back. Zhou Nianian was left alone in the cafeteria. "I'm innocent, I really didn't mean to just now." My brain just short-circuited for a second. 77 walked over at this moment and patted her shoulder. Sis, the first answer was quite fine, but the next part was totally unnecessary. After returning to the dorm, if it wasn't for that damn dream last night, if I didn't know I was living in a book, and if I wasn't that hated by everyone, villainous male lead, then today's matter would have just been a minor incident. But in the dream, the person I hugged was... Don't run anymore. The dream is gradually becoming a reality. The story has already begun. But I am certain I'm not the Ye Chen in the book. I absolutely won't be like him, clinging onto a woman. I will only rely on myself. Tomorrow night is the opening ceremony. Zhou Nianian asked me out to Shoshi Street. As soon as I went downstairs, I saw her waiting right below the dorm. She looked no different from a walking snack rack and a phone. That look was so bad it hurt my eyes. "Ye Chen, I'm calling you." "Ye Chen, I'm really sorry." "Don't be mad anymore. Just give me a smile, okay?" Looking at the gazes of the students passing by, and then looking at her embarrassing state, I really wanted to vanish on the spot. Getting worked up over this idiot is beneath me. "Your punishment for the next month is to wake up early every day to buy me breakfast." "Yes, sir, Ye Chen. This humble maiden is at your service." Zhou Nianian forced a bright smile. I continued to increase the punishment. Later, go to the sports field and run 2 laps first, plus 20 more sit-ups. Though it wasn't a lot for this girl, this was enough of a punishment. Physical punishment, too. How about I buy you breakfast for a month and a half instead?" Zhou Nianian began to bargain, looking up at me pitifully. I admit it was very cute. But, with all those snacks hanging all over her body, I really couldn't bear to look at her. "Are you trying to teach me how to do things?" I wouldn't dare. Zhou Nianian chickened out, instantly looking scared again. She immediately handed over all her snacks to the dorm manager auntie. Zhou Nianian screamed instantly to help bolster her courage. He immediately surrendered all his snacks to the dorm manager, and then stood up straight. I could clearly hear that Zhou Nianian's words were filled with a grievance she couldn't hide. "I will definitely complete the mission." The two of us swept through the snack street, eating so many delicious treats before finally being satisfied. Returning to school, I quickly finished washing up, and then threw myself onto the bed comfortably, trying hard to remember the dream from last night. I began to review the plot lines. First, running into the female lead. Second, a chance encounter at the library. Third, a confrontation at the sports field, along with pursuing behavior that could be considered harassment. The dream was very chaotic. The number of times the female lead and I met was absurdly high. To sum it up in one sentence, every chance encounter was carefully orchestrated. Thinking through this point, meticulously, I felt relieved again. The old me had previously recorded the female lead's entire schedule, without missing a single gap. As long as I don't intentionally arrange it, then since the female lead and I are in different classes, we would have no intersection at all, and the probability of running into each other would be pitifully low. Thinking this, I instantly felt completely at ease, sleeping soundly all the way until morning. The next morning passed in a blink of an eye. The first class of the afternoon happened to be PE. Before class, everyone was gathering under the shade of the trees, gossiping about the class committee election tonight. While I was chatting with Yu Peng, my shoulder was suddenly patted. Turning my head, I saw Zhou Nianian showing her bunny teeth, smiling brightly at me. "Ha ha ha, Ye Chen. What a coincidence. Our two classes are having PE together again. This is my childhood friend, Zhou Nianian." She nodded in greeting to Yu Peng. Zhou Nianian pulled me aside. "Ye Chen, we're running laps in PE class today. Can that count toward the morning run? Fine, sit-ups reduced to 30. Then I'm going back to my line. If I'm free later, I'll do the sit-ups right away. If not, you'll make up for it tonight. As soon as Joe Nianian left, a female student named Huo Ruyi came close. That guy from class 4, is he your boyfriend? Huh? What boyfriend? We haven't even thought about that yet. Huo Ruyi smiled faintly and looked toward me, her gaze completely undisguised. Not boyfriend and girlfriend. Then it's much simpler then. Yu Peng and I were standing and chatting next to the sports equipment when a loud shout suddenly rang out from afar. Before I could even react, a basketball flew straight toward me. Just as I was about to reach out my hand to catch it, a girl suddenly rushed out to block in front of me. That girl couldn't control her momentum and tumbled right toward me, shoving me down onto the ground. My palm was also accidentally scraped. Xian saw that my palm was bleeding, and in her cold eyes, a flash of heartache flickered past. Talk about bad luck, misfortunes really never come singly. I'm just entirely unlucky. The sports field is truly the most dangerous area in a school story. How could I forget about this? What a pighead I am. Classmate, are you okay? Just now I saw a basketball flying over. I didn't think much of it, and just wanted to help keep you from getting hurt. I didn't expect to end up hurting you like this instead. Let me take you to the infirmary. Yu Peng immediately scolded that girl right to her face. Don't you know your own limits? If you hadn't rushed out, Ye Chen would have caught that ball himself. Instead, look at what you did. Both the ball and a person slammed right into Ye Chen. It's a good thing his head didn't hit the ground, otherwise it would have been a major disaster. A crowd of onlookers had already gathered closely around. Xian originally didn't like having contact with boys, but this time she suddenly squatted down to help me up. I snapped awake and opened my eyes, my gaze scanning through the gathering crowd. Where on earth is Joe Nianian? Someone in the crowd shouted, "She's not here! She's not here! Let me take you to the infirmary." But I didn't want to have anything to do with her. I struggled wanting to walk by myself, but Yu Peng held me down tightly. Don't overdo it. Our campus is so huge. If you drag yourself there, who knows when you'll arrive. The campus goddess Shi Yan herself wants to support you, so don't be so hesitant and shy anymore. I let out a sigh, scanned my surroundings, and came up with a plan, suddenly pointing outside the circle and talking to a chubby girl who couldn't squeeze in. Classmate, could I trouble you to take me to the infirmary for a bit? Shushixi froze right on the spot. Her face flushed red in an instant. She was at a loss for what to do before. So many eyes staring at her in this school. It's too big, I can't find where the infirmary is. So could you please help me out a bit? Xian heard my words and slightly knit her delicate brows. Ye Chen, what's wrong with you? Why am I right next to him? Yet he won't let me lead the way. Instead, he's finding an outsider he's not close with to lead the way. Did I do something wrong? Amidst the gazes of admiration, jealousy, and envy, Shushishi walked ahead to lead the way, guiding me toward the infirmary. Later she saw that I was walking too slowly, so she proactively came to my side to support me. Meanwhile, Xian and Huo Rui also followed behind. Yu Peng's group also wanted to tag along, but I refused. It wasn't a big deal. Having a whole crowd tagging along would look too showy and flashy. It was unnecessary, really not necessary. Finally, we arrived at the infirmary. Shushishi carefully let me lie down on the hospital bed, and even thoughtfully helped me roll up my sleeves and pant legs. The school doctor looked at me, checking while asking around. Oh dear, you poor thing. How did you take such a nasty fall? He was also hit by a basketball too, Huo Rui hurriedly explained. The school doctor nodded and continued to press for answers. Other than your knees and palms, is there anywhere else that hurts? The few of them fell silent and didn't say anything, while I had all my attention drawn away by the pain in my palms, so I didn't have the peace of mind to notice where else it hurt. After that, the school doctor looked at us and said, "Let me examine you. Students, please step outside for a moment." A moment later, the doctor finished the checkup and started applying medicine for me. When the cotton ball soaked with antiseptic solution touched the scraped area, sudden bone-piercing pain hit me. I still gritted my teeth without uttering a word, only letting out a soft groan when the pain became unbearable. This unyielding look caught the eyes of the girls. Then Shushishi gently comforted me. Ye Chen, if it hurts, just cry out, don't just force yourself to endure it. The doctor finally finished treating the scrapes on my knees and the bruises on both palms. Since they were the landing points, they were injured the worst, so they were bandaged up, looking like two large white buns. I'm about to apply medicine to his back. Should you kids consider stepping out again? The doctor glanced at them and teased. Hearing that medicine had to be applied to my back, the three girls blushed and obediently backed out. In no time, the doctor called them back in, thoughtfully advising watch out a bit when playing ball in the future. You can't just disregard your classmates' well-being just because you're playing a game. Look at these injuries. How is he supposed to eat and write for the next few days? Also, during these days, the wounds must not touch water. You guys keep an eye on him. Come back in 2 days for a dressing change. For the final sentence, the school doctor looked at me and said, "Hey, student, I've gotten the medicine for you. Remember to use the spray for your knees and back every day. Don't forget about it. After giving all the precautions, the school doctor waved his hand to let us go. Then, Huorui beat her to the punch and spoke, Sishi, thanks for your hard work. Let me support Ye Chen. As she spoke, she was about to reach out her hand. Naive Shishi thought she was just being polite. So she waved her hands and said, I'm not tired. It's fine. Standing aside, Shiyan keenly noticed my unusual behavior today, but she wasn't sure if it was just an illusion, so she didn't interfere, leaving the two of them to dispute. Right at this moment, Zhou Nian rushed over aggressively. Seeing my miserable state, she felt extremely heartbroken. Glancing at Shiyan and Huorui nearby, she let out a cold snort. Humph. Then she softly said to me, Ye Chen, let me support you back to class. As soon as Zhou Nian finished speaking, she stood right by my bed, reaching out her hands ready to help me up. Thank you, classmate. I think it's better to let her support me. It'll be a bit more convenient that way. I smiled apologetically at Shushishi. Returning to the classroom, I sat down in my seat. Not long after, Huorui walked over with a blushing face, holding a cup filled with hot water, and placed it on my desk with a thud. This time her face blushed to the absolute limit. Not daring to say a single word, she dashed back to her seat. I looked at the cup of hot water and was completely dazed. Even though I knew she meant well, I was quite speechless. It really is a bit different. But with my current condition, even going to the restroom is difficult. Yet she's telling me to drink lots of warm water. As expected, no matter what the problem is, it can always be solved with the phrase, drink lots of warm water. Right? I finally waited until afternoon classes were dismissed. After that, I saw Zhou Nian sending a message asking me, are you going to eat at the cafeteria later? Or should I buy takeout and bring it to you? I didn't want to be surrounded and bothered by everyone, so I decisively replied, help me buy food and bring it over. I'll wait for you at the school square in a bit. I waited until almost everyone had left, before limping my way to the restroom. After that, I slowly walked over to the school square. Just in time, Zhou Nian had arrived too. She was carrying 2 lunchboxes in her hands. The two of us started eating while sitting at a stone table. Zhou Nian talked while eating. If anything comes up these days, just tell Yang Jiajia. Okay. Yang Jiajia in your class is my best friend. While eating my food, I calmly said, it's nothing big. My knees will heal in a few days. That's all. After that, I heard Zhou Nian let out an "oh" and say, right, my mom also asked me, if you've adjusted well as an exchange student, and how things are at school. I didn't say anything about the injury. But I heard from my mom that a client who is also at our school recently asked if you're still taking jobs. After that, Zhou Nian glanced at my hands that were swollen like buns and roasted me. I think you should just rest. You're not strapped for that little bit of cash right now anyway. I pondered for a moment and casually asked someone from our school. I don't seem to have any impression of them. They're indeed from our school. They contacted us before, but back then the two of us were still in Beijing. Plus it was too far, so they didn't look for you. Now that they heard you've returned as an exchange student, they asked my mom to be a bridge again. I didn't say anything and just reached out my hand. Nianian sent the client's info for me to check out. Zhou Nian sent the documents over while speaking. I have it, but my mom wouldn't advise you to take it right now either. I skimmed through the documents and said, this client's profile is pretty good. Low requirements, but high pay. This is totally an angel client. I'm taking the job. Zhou Nian hesitated for a long time. Ye Chen, do you really not need to rest for a while before taking on jobs? Do you absolutely have to take it right now? You're truly too obsessed with money. When the afternoon class ended, I wasn't in a hurry to leave. Yu Peng also stayed behind to wait for me until almost everyone had left. Zhou Nian just walked over, and unexpectedly Huorui and Shiyan also followed right behind her. Shiyan felt that I got injured because of her, so whether out of courtesy or reason, she couldn't just ignore it. But I get a headache every single time I see them. At this moment on the school campus, people were bustling back and forth. Zhou Nian supported me, with 2 top-tier beauties walking along beside us, looking no different from a drama scene of stars surrounding the moon. This scene really couldn't be any more disastrous. It's completely the standard opening for a villainous male supporting character in a power fantasy novel. The more glorious and radiant you are in the early stages, the harder you'll get exposed and cancelled in the later stages, and the harder you'll fall. Being supported by Zhou Nian like this, just wanted to become a completely decadent ruler on the spot. Just thinking about my miserable ending as cannon fodder, and then looking at these oblivious female leads beside me, makes me feel that this life is truly making a person's world go dark time and time again. Returning to the dorm, I added the contact from the business card Zhou Nian sent over. The other party accepted immediately and even set up a meeting with me to get to know each other. With that done, I let out a sigh of relief, intending to relax a bit. As a result, who would have ever expected that at 8 p.m., the school forum suddenly blew up. Someone had posted the photo of me when I fell, instantly taking the whole school by storm. In the photo, the bangs on my forehead covered half of my face. The person who took the candid shot even captioned, "No need to thank me." The forum instantly went wild like a chaotic battlefield, with people simping hard over my looks. I declare this is my new male god. This look is completely qualified to compete for the title of campus prince, right? Oh my god, this fragile beauty makes my heart skip a beat. There were also some haters who appeared. The people above are just a bunch of brainless simps. You guys can't even see through such cheap tricks. He looks just average. Compared to the young master of the Do family, he's far behind. There were also onlookers lurking for drama who weren't afraid of things. Huge inside with the sour smell of jealousy from several buildings is about to overflow from the screen. I heard this new student's family background is just ordinary, right? The parents of our young master of the Do family are figures who are on the rich list of Beicheng. Moreover, he and Shiyan are childhood friends. An exchange student like him, how can he even compare to young Master Du? After class the next day, everyone was just slacking off in the classroom. Suddenly, there was a commotion outside the classroom. A male student led a group of people and barged in. Who is Ye Chen? I was sucking on a lollipop engrossed in playing on my phone, and was suddenly interrupted. I furrowed my brows, stood up, and asked, "Who are you? What do you want with me?" Chen Shuo sized me up a few times. So he's Ye Chen. He looks somewhat handsome, but he's still not as good-looking as me. He walked straight up to me, curled his lips into a smile, and said, "My name is Chen Shuo. Are you the new transfer student? How come I've never heard anyone in our social circle mention a character like you?" Hearing his words, I immediately furrowed my brows. This is getting interesting. He wants to test my background to see if I have any powerful backing behind me. But in my memory, I only remember him as a late-stage boss. Clearly a big shot in Beicheng, yet he was always being suppressed and bossed around by Du Wuming. He's actually quite pitiful, too. So the problem lies right here. What the hell does he want with me? A sharp-witted girl saw things weren't looking good, so she bolted right over to the next classroom, shouting loudly as she ran, "Oh no, the big boss Chen Shuo went to find Ye Chen." Young Jijia was chatting with Huo Ruyi and Shi Yan. Hearing this, she flew into a rage, and immediately rushed straight back to the classroom. Zhou Nianian also heard the news and ran to stand beside me. After that, I replied with a completely blank face, "Oh, my family really doesn't have money, just enough to buy lollipops. And you're right about that. My family is indeed not some wealthy, powerful family." After hearing me finish, his face was completely filled with shock. Why is this guy so crafty? How can he speak about being poor so confidently, like that? How am I supposed to keep acting with him like this? Suppressed his surprise, let out a cold snort, and continued. "I heard you want to compete with Du Wuming for the title of campus prince?" "Not at all," I replied instantly. "I'm not worthy." Hearing my answer, Chen Shuo inwardly cursed. "No way, bro. Did you just steal my lines?" Those words, "not worthy," aren't right. Those two words should have been said by me. Why aren't you playing cards according to the script? How annoying. I hate people who have no self-awareness. The most just like you guys. A main character should act like a main character. Not getting the answer he wanted, Chen Shuo still wouldn't let it go and continued to make things difficult. "Do you know what kind of people Du Wuming and Shi Yan are in Beicheng? The two of them have been childhood friends since they were kids, perfectly matched in status, a total power couple. They're truly a match made in heaven." Before he could even finish his sentence, I cut him off and continued. "What a coincidence. I'm also shipping those two as a CP. Xian, who had just arrived, heard this, slightly knit her brows and let out a sigh. In her heart, she couldn't help but feel wronged. Me and Du Wuming are clearly completely platonic. Why does it turn into this with Ye Chen? After hearing me speak, Chen Shuo was completely speechless, looking at me with a face full of dark lines. Daikai, who was standing behind Chen Shuo, saw that Chen Shuo seemed to be losing ground, so he felt a bit anxious. This newly transferred student, turns out he's actually this hard to deal with. No way I have to give Chen Shuo a hand. Chu Jaikai cleared his throat, looked at me and said, "It's good that you know that. There's no chance between you and the eldest Miss Shi Yan." Hearing him say that, I burst out laughing. Then I self-deprecated. Of course it's impossible. I have no background whatsoever. Compared to the eldest miss, we're definitely not from the same social class, other than this handsome face, and a smart brain that only knows how to study. I'm truly good for nothing. After saying that, I looked at him seriously, my gaze completely sincere. Everyone around started whispering and gossiping. My deskmate Yu Peng secretly gave me a thumbs up. Young Jiajia, on the other hand, showed a total fangirl look. I thought he was a cold male god, but turns out he's got a witty side. This clapback is too attractive, so awesome. I knew right away that no one could corner him. Qian used a resentful gaze to look at me, seemingly wanting to say, Du Wuming and I have nothing between us. Yet Chen, don't misunderstand. Chen Shuo was a bit taken aback. With the current situation leaving him at a disadvantage, he could only force an awkward smile and say, "There's no need to put yourself down like that. I just wanted to come and be friends with you." I said with a face full of sincerity, huh? Is that so, seeing how aggressive you were? I thought you came to settle a score with me. Your way of making friends is truly very unique. After hearing me speak, Chen Shuo took a step back, thinking to himself, this guy is definitely not simple. His level is too high. I was a bit too hasty today. I thought he would be an easy target, but I didn't expect his tongue to be so sharp. After that, he just politely curled his lips and said, "You're overthinking it. It's almost time for class. Nice meeting you. We'll head out first." A whole crowd of people had barged in aggressively, only to leave with their tails between their legs. After they left, Yu Peng immediately patted my shoulder. "Holy crap, Ye Chen. You were so badass. How are you so cracked? I was actually worried you'd get bullied by him." Zhou Nianian also stepped forward and said, "Not bad at all. I knew right away you wouldn't get bullied. But why did he want to pick a fight with you?" I glanced at her and handed her my water bottle. Ridiculous. As if I'd let him bully me. "Go get some water for this master." Liu Jingyan, sitting behind, suddenly spoke up. I might know why. Several people looked toward him at the same time, their eyes filled with anticipation. They only heard him explain that. Last night on the forum, everyone was praising Ye Chen. You guys probably don't know. Chen Shuo is a perennial runner-up, who is always being stepped on by Du Wuming. He found Ye Chen to be an eyesore. You've just arrived fresh, yet you're already highly sought after by our classmates, so he felt upset in his heart. That's why he wanted to come over here and pick a fight. Our school is truly lively. I think so too. Chen. Shuo definitely felt that Ye Chen's presence threatened him. He was already a perennial runner-up, and who would have thought that now even that second place, I'm afraid he won't be able to keep it. Turns out among you guys, there's also so much drama and gossip. It really opens my eyes. Hua Ruyi from the next class teased Shi Yan, who was standing nearby. "Yan Ye Chen of your house is still shipping you with Du Wuming." Shi Yan glanced at her and let out a sigh, thinking to herself, me and Du Wuming really have nothing going on. But from childhood to adulthood, everyone defaulted that the two of us would be together. Before I was too lazy to explain, but today, hearing it directly from Ye Chen's mouth, I just keep feeling uncomfortable. My family is very open-minded. As long as the character is good, it's fine. But didn't Ye Chen mean to say that I only like men with good family backgrounds? Ye Chen, you are so annoying. Clearly, I am not that kind of person. Why do you misunderstand me like that? The next morning, when I woke up, I felt my knee was much better than yesterday. Yesterday was truly agonizing to death. Today, I can finally walk normally. I had an appointment to meet the client at a restaurant. Zhou Nianian went there with me. If you find this person hard to manage, then don't take it. Our university curriculum has so many subjects. Just focus on studying well to get a scholarship, and that's enough. I nodded. I know what you mean, but the other party is also at Zhuoyue. For me, it's just a convenient side job. Besides how my studies are, could it be that you don't know clearly? After talking, I sent a message to the other party. I've arrived at the spicy hot pot counter on the second floor of the restaurant. Enter the door, turn right, the third row. Okay, I'm coming right away. I looked out toward the door, searching, and sure enough, there was a chubby girl walking over. I immediately waved my hand. After that, that classmate walked toward me. The moment that girl saw me, her eyes suddenly turned red. Lin Anyu didn't even dare to look straight at me. She almost never talks to boys. Oh my God, turns out it's him. The new transfer student everyone has been talking about lately. Lately, he's really been very handsome. But right now, such a handsome guy is sitting right opposite her, and there isn't a hint of disgust in his eyes either. She became even more nervous. While Lin Anyu was looking at me, I was also observing her. When Lin Anyu felt my gaze, a surge of frustration and shame suddenly welled up in her heart, an unspeakable feeling of discomfort. She tried to hold back her tears, lowering her head deeply, thinking to herself that her parents were lying to her. Saying what? That the professional weight loss expert is very reputable, and is also a peer of the same age. Even if she can't lose weight, they can still make friends. Such a handsome guy like this, how can he be considered a professional weight loss expert? Clearly, her parents called someone over to humiliate her. She had already begun to regret it. At this moment, I had no idea what she was thinking, so I just proceeded according to the process. First was the self-introduction. Hello, my name is Ye Chen. I accepted the commission from your parents to come and assist you in losing weight. May I ask how I should address you? Lin Anyu coldly replied, Hello, new friend. My name is Lin Anyu. I nodded and then continued, classmate Lin. May I ask if you have ever tried to lose weight before? Lin Anyu's head was completely at a loss for what to do right now, and she could only reply according to my rhythm. I've tried it. Dieting, exercising, even taking medicine, I've tried it all. Sorry. I want to ask a question. May I ask if you can persist with exercising? Zhou Nianian chimed in with a question. Only then did Lin Anyu notice her. Seeing the pretty face of the girl, her heart suddenly tightened for a beat, and she finally replied, No, never. Zhou Nianian nodded and said nothing. I said solemnly, Losing weight by relying solely on dieting is absolutely not going to work. Exercising is the main component. At most, I will work out with you and monitor your diet. If we sign the contract, you must listen to me and exercise. Can you work out to lose weight? Lin Anyu said resentfully. If I could persist, then I wouldn't have ended up in this state. Precisely because my self-discipline is poor. That's why I sought you guys out. I also understood this logic, so I smiled softly. Actually, my role is to urge and motivate you. The weight loss process is inherently very painful. If you agree, I will go to the stadium with you to work out. Losing weight alone is a very lonely and difficult process. With us accompanying you, you'll feel much better. As soon as Lin Anyu heard that someone would jog with her and play badminton with her, she thought, wow, that's great then. In this school, I basically don't have any friends. Now that someone is accompanying me, I finally have a feeling of being accepted. Seeing that she was in a state of serious contemplation, I changed my tone. Of course, if you're not very willing, we won't force you either. I was just... Before my words were even finished, I agree. The voice of Lin Anyu was already heard ringing out. After that, I looked at her with a gaze full of admiration and said, great, you're truly a warrior. After the two of us reached an agreement, we decided to set up times to eat together in the future. After that, we also arranged for times when Lin Anyu didn't have classes to do extra workouts. The three of us had a meal together and then went right back to the classroom. In the evening, Lin Anyu returned to the dorm. After washing up, she lay down on the bed, only to see a message sent by her mom, baby. Did you meet the weight loss coach today? Mom, why didn't you tell me it was a guy? Her mom texted back. Is it a guy or a girl? That important, baby, don't be shy. I heard from someone's recommendation that this young man is very skilled at weight loss. Let's just give it a try. We have nothing to lose anyway. Think about it. If you really get slim and find a handsome boyfriend in the future, how great would that be? Seeing this, Lin Anyu felt a bit embarrassed in her heart and at the same time a bit troubled. Suddenly her phone lit up. Anyu, do you have any favorite sports? Lin Anyu was startled. It was rare for anyone to text her in the evening like this. No, I don't like exercising at all. I only like lying down. After that, I looked at her message, thought for a moment, and replied, badminton, volleyball, table tennis. Try them one by one, and find the one you hate the least among the things you don't like. Lin Anyu had a mild case of social anxiety. She didn't know what to say, and was just about to pretend she didn't see it, when she saw another message of mine coming in. Let's have breakfast together tomorrow morning. I'll wait for you at the cafeteria. Early the next morning, Nianian and Lin Anyu met on time at the cafeteria. Each of us grabbed the food we wanted to eat, and then sat down at a table. At this moment, I looked at Lin Anyu's food tray, and let out a sigh. Lin Anyu asked aggrievedly, what's wrong? My previous weight loss coach said, my former weight loss coach said, you can eat breakfast as much as you like. I nodded affirmatively. You did the right thing. Eating breakfast on time is a good habit. Right now, it's correct for you to eat a bit more. Lin Anyu's hanging heart finally relaxed. The three of us just sat there eating, not paying attention to the gazes of the students around. Among them, a student who saw this scene whispered and gossiped with the friend walking along. Hey, that newly transferred student, why is he sitting and eating with her? Do they know each other? I don't know either. It's truly strange. Turns out Ye Chen actually has this kind of friend by his side. I didn't even bother to care about their gossip. It's just that, right when Lin Anyu was eating her second bun, I suddenly spoke up. Anyu, can you share one bun with the two of us? Lin Anyu was a bit taken aback, looking at me with a bit of doubt again. She looked at me and said, this is fine, I guess, but why? I smiled at her and continued. The two of us have never tried the buns at this stall before. Seeing you eat so deliciously, we also got a bit of a craving. Can you share one with us? As for Nianian regarding my tricks, it must be said she was already too familiar with them. She cooperatively nodded her head. Hearing this, Lin Anyu was secretly thrilled in her heart, because no boy had ever actively asked to share food with her before. So she split the bun in her hand. I quickly thanked her, broke the bun in half, gave half to Nianian, took another sip of porridge and praised. Anyu, you really know how to choose. The taste is indeed very delicious. After breakfast, all three went to the lecture hall area. Zhou Nianian walked with Lin Anyu back to their class. Lin Anyu asked her in a daze and doubtfully, why are you following me? Zhou Nianian smiled and said, Ye Chen told me to confiscate all the snacks in your desk drawer, so that's why I came with you. Lin Anyu was temporarily a bit reluctant. Is it already this strict right from the start? Every day after the recess exercise, I always have to eat something. If you take all the snacks away and I get hungry, what should I do? Zhou Nianian understood too well what she was thinking. Losing weight is your own business. We are only supporting you. Snacks are not beneficial for weight control. Think about it, is that right? Lin Anyu bit her lip, made up her mind, and said, all right, follow me. The two walked to her classroom. Zhou Nianian took away all of Lin Anyu's snacks and discovered that inside the desk drawer, there were still drinks. Just as she was about to take them too, she was quickly stopped by Lin Anyu. How about leaving the drinks for me? I don't like drinking plain water. If you take everything at once, I'll feel very restless. Zhou Nianian didn't force it either. All right then, I'll leave you 2 bottles of drinks. As for the rest, I'm taking them all. After saying that, she walked to the door and then turned back. She flashed a playful smile and said, "Oh, one more thing. Chen told me to go to your dorm tonight, to confiscate all the pile of snacks in there too. So tonight, don't forget to lead me to your dorm, okay?" Lin Anyu stood frozen on the spot, her face trapped between crying and laughing. At this moment, Chen Miao Miao rushed to Lin Anyu's side. "Hey, how do you know Ye Chen? Why were you guys even eating breakfast together? Do you have his contact info? Can I add him on WeChat through you?" Lin Anyu was startled by Chen Miao Miao. Hearing the words she said, she felt a bit unhappy in her heart, and hesitantly replied, "He came to supervise my weight loss." Lin Anyu thought up this excuse. She thought to herself, "I heard yesterday, someone went to Ye Chen's class to humiliate him, even though he didn't suffer any loss. But if I reveal now the matter of Ye Chen doing a part-time job as a weight loss coach, would it make people look down on him? I know this crowd all too well. Every single one of them is not to be trifled with." Who would have thought? Chen Miao Miao would get even more excited after hearing this. "I also want to lose weight. Can you supervise me at the same time as well?" The female students around heard this sentence and immediately burst out laughing. Has she not looked at her own figure? She's already skinny to that extent, yet she still claims to want to lose weight. It's truly hilarious to death. Lin Anyu exclaimed in shock. Oh my God. Has this world already become competitive to this extent? Skinny like a matchstick over there, yet still claiming to want to lose weight. Then where else is there a place for me to survive? A male student nearby laughed. Chen Miao Miao is going to lose weight with this figure. Are you planning to get a bit skinnier to just fly away or what? I think your losing weight is fake. Seeing that Ye Chen is handsome is the real deal. Chen Miao Miao sheepishly lowered her head. I didn't say lose weight. I just want to tone my figure, that's all. Can I work out with you, the 2 of us? Can be companions for fun? Lin Anyu outwardly said, "It's up to you to decide," waving her hand with the generous expression as if she didn't care at all. But in reality, in her heart she was screaming at Ye Chen, "Please don't agree." She really didn't want any more people coming to compete for him. Before long, the bell for class rang. Everyone returned to their seats to start the lesson. After school was over, I saw that my knee was almost completely healed, so I intended to go jog a lap around the school. While on the other side, after Lin Anyu finished running, her whole body was drenched in sweat like rain. Stepping into the school's mini-mart, she bought an ice cream and a few other snacks again. After paying, she hurriedly left the mini-mart, just stepping down the steps. While in a daze, she heard someone calling her, "Hey." At first, Lin Anyu thought she heard wrong. How could there be a male student calling her? Who would have thought she would hear another Lin Anyu? She turned around and saw that I was calling her, and beside me there was another male student whom she didn't know. Immediately, her face flushed red like a tomato, standing right there unable to make any further reaction. How strange. Why is there suddenly a guilty feeling? Like doing something bad and getting caught red-handed by someone like this. Clearly, I just went into the mini-mart to buy snacks, that's all. In my heart, I was secretly smug. I knew right away that she would drop by the mini-mart. Caught red-handed by me, huh? I took a few steps forward, flashing a meaningful smile, crossing my arms over my chest, shaking my head knowingly and saying, My losing weight like this isn't going to work, you know. After that, I saw the ice cream in her hand again, raised my brows and continued, "Eating and drinking quite well, huh? You even have ice cream, too." Lin Anyu was so flustered that she didn't know where to put her hands and feet. As for me, I didn't cut her any slack at all. I immediately stepped up, took away all the pile of snacks in her hand, and then handed her 3 cartons of milk. She looked at the cartons of milk in her hand, a bit dissatisfied, looking at me aggrievedly. I curled my lips and said, "This morning you didn't eat a small amount. We only had 2 classes. How could you be hungry? If you're really hungry, then drink milk. A total of 3 cartons, I didn't starve you. First, let's change the habit of snacking during recess to drinking milk instead. Let's just take it slow." She looked at the ice cream and then looked at me, sensing my good intentions, so she gloomily nodded, "All right. Then I'll just drink milk, okay?" After speaking, both went back to their respective classes. Before leaving, I waved my hand and said, "Anyu, thanks for your ice cream." I wasn't being polite. Since it was already taken, it was taken. What else can I even say? Oh, seriously, my pile of snacks. I didn't even get to eat a single bite yet, boo-hoo. On the way back to class, Yu Peng asked me, "Ye Chen, is this the classmate you're helping to lose weight?" Sigh, at her rate, it's going to be very hard to lose weight. The starting number is a bit large. It'll probably take a very long time to lose it. I scooped a spoonful of ice cream, let out a sigh of relief and said, "I know. Just take it slow. Haste makes waste." Because I know losing weight is a long-term process. First, I must fix Lin Anyu's snacking habit, and then gradually reduce the portion of food for lunch and dinner, combining it with proper exercise. Not to mention how much can be lost. At least it will. Form a healthy eating habit. which is also to create a solid foundation for weight control in the future. After school in the afternoon, I asked Lin Anyu out to the stadium. The stadium in September. The afternoon temperature was still very pleasant. Under the sunset, girls were taking walks on the field. This was a scene that Lin Anyu had never seen before. She rarely ever went out to the stadium. Compared to taking a walk outside on the field, she preferred to curl up in her dorm or classroom snacking rather than this. While reading a novel, the two of us stood in a corner of the field. Not far from there were the pull-up, bars, and other exercise equipment. Seeing Lin Anyu's dazed expression, I chuckled softly and spoke up. My hand got hurt from a fall 2 days ago, so I can't play badminton with you. Today we'll just practice a few simple moves, okay? How about it? She nodded. I continued. Now roll your shoulders to warm up. Next up is 70 crunches. Hearing this sentence, Lin Anyu suddenly felt completely relieved, while thinking to herself, lucky me, lucky me. 70 is still fine, just a little effort will do. At least I won't lose face in front of him. After warming up her muscles and bones, she obediently started doing crunches. I found a wall to sit down and quietly watched her practice. After a while, she dusted off her hands and stood up. I looked at Lin Anyu, who was drenched in sweat, and nodded. Satisfactorily done already. Not bad. She didn't reply, her breath rushing, only continuously using her hand to fan away the heat. I smiled gently and said, Anyu, let's rest for a moment and then do 70 more. Squats, okay? Hearing that, she cried out, then asked plaintively, no way, right? We still have to keep going. I nodded, looking at her with amusement. She made up her mind and said, all right, give me 3 minutes to mentally prepare. After resting, Lin Anyu started a new round of exercise again. When she counted to the 52nd one on her own, she could no longer hold on firmly. Her legs were completely exhausted and stiff, and her body began to become heavy. No, I'm too tired. I can't persist any longer. What should I do? I want to give up so badly. Finally, she stole a glance at me, suppressing her hesitation, and bit her lips tightly. She kept telling herself, I can't give up like this. I don't want him to see me as a joke. Just go all out. Relying on this unyielding willpower, she difficultly repeated the squatting motion. I looked at her stubborn, unyielding face, knitted my brows slightly, but didn't tell her to stop. I only asked while she was working out on you, how many squats have you done now? Holding her breath, she replied, I've done 59. Then a deep, warm voice rang out, oh, still missing 10 more. Is this already your limit? She didn't reply, gritting her teeth to speed up, and finally finished the exercise. The time is about right, let's go eat. I saw that the time was just right, so the two of us went to the cafeteria together. While eating, Lin Anyu was bone-tired. She wanted to use delicious food to make up for her exhausted body, running to the counters to buy a lot of food, walking back and forth for several trips just to buy enough of what she wanted to eat. Just sitting down, she saw that I was quietly sitting on the dining chair playing with my phone. She asked a bit curiously, why didn't you go buy food? Could it be that he also wants to lose weight? Now even guys are competing this hard. Hearing that question, I put my phone down, smiling gently at her. How could that be? I still want to eat more to grow taller. She blinked her eyes, suddenly as if thinking of something. Her eyes suddenly turned red. No, wait, should I have bought food for him? After all, he is my master now. This head of mine, seriously. She was a bit awkward and apologetic, immediately standing up and saying, what are you eating? I'll go buy it for you. I didn't know what kind of drama she was playing out in her head, glanced at her, and pointed at the bowl of malatang, asking Anyu, how much was this bowl of malatang of yours? Lin Anyu thought I wanted to eat malatang, so she obediently replied 42 yuan. It looks pretty good, right? I think it must taste great. I nodded, pulling the bowl of malatang toward myself without asking, and said, if you eat malatang tonight, then all the effort from our workout will go right down the drain. Let me eat this bowl of malatang for you. Lin Anyu was a bit upset, but she didn't dare to rebel, so she could only quickly finish the fried dumplings. Only then did she start eating her egg-fried rice. Man, next time don't order it this spicy. Suddenly, hearing my slightly raspy voice ring out, Lin Anyu glanced at me. My forehead was already covered with fine beads of sweat and my sideburns were completely drenched. Lin Anyu began to feel guilty. What should I do? If I knew I wouldn't have ordered it this spicy. I really feel a bit sorry for him. Then she hesitantly handed her untouched watermelon juice to me. Who would have thought that after I took the watermelon juice and drank it, I would habitually criticize it a bit. Also, don't add too many fish balls. And how many noodle bricks did you put in here? It's too much, I can't finish it all. Hearing that Lin Anyu's guilt instantly vanished into thin air, and she even felt a bit smug. Then she reached her hand out toward me. If you're so capable, then don't drink it. Give my watermelon juice back to me. The two bantered while finishing the meal. By the time Lin Anyu cleared the food trays and walked back, she saw a notification of a transfer on WeChat. She looked at me in a bit of a daze and asked, why did you transfer money to me? I put my phone away. The two of us talked while walking outside. The pile of snacks confiscated from you this morning, I'm not returning them. Plus the money for dinner tonight. I transferred it all back to you at once. Lin Anyu hurriedly waved her hands and said no need for the transfer. I understand it's all for my own good. Looking at her goofy appearance, I couldn't help but want to tease her. In the future, as long as I catch you buying snacks, I will confiscate all of them. Also, I advise you to be a bit more self-disciplined. Next time, if I see you buying too much, I will still snatch them right from your hands. But these things were already the result of me trying my best to hold back. Why are the requirements still so strict? Lin Anyu felt a bit wronged. As both arrived at the turn of the stairs, I reminded her again, go back and rest for a bit. An hour later, I'll wait for you downstairs. Go to the stadium and run 4 laps before you can go back to rest again. I'm off, bye-bye. Lin Anyu felt like her whole world turned dark after hearing this sentence. An hour later, the three met again at the stadium. Since Zhou Nianian also wanted to jog, she came along with us. She and Lin Anyu started jogging together, while I sat on the steps keeping time for the two. About 15 minutes later, the session ended, and they went back to the dorm together. Seeing Zhou Nianian following her all the way, Lin Anyu tiredly asked, no way, right? Why are you following me? Planning to take all my snacks. Did you forget what I said this morning? Ye Chen told me I must take all your snacks. Oh my god, this is too cruel. Even the stuff in the dorm won't be spared. Lin Anyu shook her head stubbornly and said I don't have snacks. The snacks were all in the classroom. You already wiped them completely clean, remember? Zhou Nianian glanced at her. With a half-smile said, cut the crap. No one is falling for that. Let's go, don't drag your feet. I'm still in a rush to go back and grind my game. After saying that, she pushed Lin Anyu toward the dorm room. Returning to the room and seeing her roommate wasn't there, Zhou Nianian immediately searched through Lin Anyu's drawers, and then even the bookshelf places where things are often kept. Sure enough, she found some snacks. Zhou Nianian hummed a song looking incredibly smug. These are all my emotional support, you know. Those boxes of chocolate were sent by my dad from abroad. They look like attractive people, but both of them are total bandits and thieves. Zhou Nianian found a tote bag, casually grabbing the snacks and tossing them inside. After that, she happily looked at Lin Anyu and said, I'm off, bye-bye. After speaking, she carried the spoils of war and walked away proudly. Lin Anyu resentfully looked at her retreating figure and muttered, you bunch of demons. I don't even know what kind of people you are. A moment later, her roommate Liu Jiajia returned with Chen Miao Miao walking alongside her behind. When Chen Miao Miao saw Lin Anyu, her eyes lit up. Hey, Lin Anyu, can you give me Chen's contact info? Someone saw you guys at the stadium this afternoon. I also want to work out with you guys, is that okay? Talk about persistent. This girl still hadn't given up yet. Even though today I was trained in a devilish style by Ye Chen the whole day, causing his image in my heart to collapse a bit. But I still didn't want to act as a middleman, to get Chen Miao Miao and Ye Chen acquainted. What does that have to do with me? Go ask him yourself. Lin Anyu said, but Chen Miao Miao refused to let it go and said, oh, come on. Isn't it the same if you help me say a word? I just want to make friends, that's all. By the way, you had close contact with him today. What do you think he's like? Is he very gentle? Lin Anyu didn't want to gossip behind someone's back, so she grabbed her bath towel and changed the subject. Just average. I'm going to take a shower. Chen Miao Miao looked after Lin Anyu's retreating figure, stomping her foot in anger. Annoying, truly. Annoying. So ungrateful. Isn't it just that you got to know Ye Chen earlier than me? What is there to be arrogant about? Lin Anyu, if you won't introduce me, I have my own ways. In the evening, while Lin Anyu was lying on her bed, she saw Ye Chen transferring money to her again. This time, the amount of money was even larger. Tomorrow, I want to try the chocolates from Germany. Also, a quick reminder, while lying on the bed, massage your arms and legs yourself. Tomorrow will probably hurt. Lin Anyu complainingly replied, my soul has already left my body. I continued texting, keep up the good work. Today's performance was very good. Seeing this message, Lin Anyu's corners of the mouth unconsciously curled up. Thinking back to before when she tried to lose weight, at most a week, and she already found it unbearably uncomfortable. My mom used to be very determined to supervise me, but later on I got more and more frustrated. Up until now, I don't even know how long I can persist. Hopefully I can keep trying, Lin Anyu vaguely thought and then fell asleep. Waking up the next morning just as expected. Her arms and legs were all sore and exhausted. When getting out of bed, she almost face-planted straight onto Mother Earth. Lin Anyu dragged her miserable body to class. I hate losing weight. Who on earth invented this annoying game of losing weight? Seriously. Suddenly, she felt that the present was also fine. She really didn't want to lose weight at all anymore. While feeling heartbroken, suddenly her phone lit up. Lin Anyu opened her phone to see a message from Ye Chen. Day 2 of losing weight, you're not allowed to give up, okay? No matter how difficult it is, you must persist with the workout. Lin Anyu instantly deflated like a punctured balloon. She lowered her head and slowly texted back, what else can I even do? She could only grit her teeth and bear it. Giving up on just the second day. If word got out, people would probably laugh their heads off. I don't want to be looked down upon by Ye Chen, just like that. The morning passed in a daze. When it was lunchtime, I waited for Lin On Yu to buy food, then very automatically carried her rice bowl away to another spot. The buddy sitting next to her was eating Lanzhou beef noodles. Seeing her buy so much food like that, what else could I even do? I had no choice but to reluctantly help her finish it all. Suddenly, I thought of something, glanced at Lin On Yu and asked, "Tomorrow is Saturday already. What do you usually do?" Lin On Yu didn't know what I was calculating. She blinked her eyes and said, "I don't really know either. Sometimes I go home." Why, I took a sip of lemon water and continued, "Where is your house? Is it in this city?" Lin On Yu replied, "Yes. My house is in this city, right over by the Jingxiu garden area." Zhou Nianian understood what I meant. She thought for a moment and then asked On Yu, "Is your house quite close to the city central library?" "Right." Lin On Yu shook her head and then nodded again. "This reaction of yours makes me a bit confused. Shaking your head and then nodding again. What does that mean?" "I've never been to the central library before, but from what I recall on Wutong Road, downtown, there is indeed a library." I nodded in understanding. Zhou Nianian smiled. "Then it's perfect. On Saturday and Sunday, come with us to the central library. To read books, how about it, Lin On Yu? Do you think that's fine?" I looked over at Lin On Yu. Lin On Yu weakly said, "Can I not go? I'm a bit tired and want to stay home and sleep all day." I shook my head and rejected her idea. "That won't do at all. On Saturday and Sunday without our supervision. I'm afraid you'll pamper yourself too much again and start binge eating and drinking. If you come out, we can read books together. And eating lunch together makes it easier to control too." Lin On Yu complained seriously. "Even on Saturday and Sunday, you guys are going to supervise me. You guys are way too dedicated." I curled my lips into a smile, took another sip of lemon water, and humbly replied, "Thanks for the compliment. It's all thanks to the power of money." Zhou Nianian looked at me. My money-grubbing expression made her unable to keep from laughing. Then she smiled and said to Lin On Yu, "Then it's settled. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, meet up at the city central library." Hearing that, Lin On Yu exclaimed in shock, "Settled what? What's settled?" Clearly, I didn't agree to anything yet. The three chatted while eating. Suddenly, two female students walked over and sat down. The two girls acted naturally, joining their table like acquaintances, and even enthusiastically greeted Lin On Yu. "Oh my, what a coincidence. Lin On Yu." Turning her face to look, it was Chen Miao Miao and Yang Jialu from her class. Lin On Yu reluctantly hummed in response, then lowered her head and said nothing more. "Having such a handsome classmate eating along with you, why don't you introduce him to us a bit? On you, aren't you being a bit too biased?" Hearing this, I raised my head to look at them, while Zhou Nianian beside me said nothing. Lin On Yu took a tissue to wipe her mouth before introducing the two of us. "This is Chen Miao Miao and Yang Jialu. They're my classmates." Before Lin On Yu could introduce us to Chen Miao Miao, Chen Miao Miao looked at me and spoke up, "I know you. The newcomer exchange student Ye Chen. You're quite famous lately." "Hello, I'm Chen Miao Miao." Hearing her name, my heart suddenly skipped a beat. Chen Miao Miao, if I remember correctly, is the fifth female supporting character in this book. Initially, she was someone who secretly loved me, and because of me, she constantly caused trouble for Du Wuming. In the later stages, after seeing my true colors clearly, she left Beicheng to go abroad. Oh my God. These past few days have been lived too leisurely. If I hadn't heard this name Chen Miao Miao, I would have completely forgotten about it. I almost forgot about the fact that I am the villainous male supporting character. Clearly, I didn't do anything at all. So why did Chen Miao Miao come looking for me again? Sigh, it's truly troublesome. No matter what I thought in my heart, on the surface I still maintained a friendly appearance. "Greeting, hello there, classmate. Lin On Yu said you're supervising her weight loss. I wanted to ask if I could join you guys too." I closely observed her. Then I raised my brows and asked, "You're already skinny enough. Do you still want to get even skinnier? Getting any skinnier isn't good for your health." Hearing this, Chen Miao Miao was a bit bashful. He really is so handsome, even more handsome than I imagined. Of all the celebrities I've seen growing up, none can compare to Ye Chen. Today, I really didn't come in vain. Arriving here, she was too shy to look at me. Timidly speaking up, "I want to gain muscle, but my self-discipline isn't very good. Can I work out with you guys?" I don't want to work out with Chen Miao Miao at all, nor do I want Ye Chen to pay too much attention to anyone else. This Chen Miao Miao girl is truly annoying to death. I didn't want to have any entanglement with the characters in the book, so I tactfully said, "If you want to gain muscle, you should seek professional advice. You can go to the gym to find a personal trainer. Sorry, I'm not very professional in this area." Chen Miao Miao felt a bit disappointed. After all, she wasn't an adult yet, so she still didn't know how to hide her emotions. "Classmate Ye Chen, can I get your contact info? It's so strange, clearly. Round me there is no shortage of guys with matching backgrounds, who always pursue and flatter me. Before I always handled them very tactfully and flawlessly, but Ye Chen is not like them. He is always indifferent to me, and even gives off a vibe of wanting to stay away from me. That makes me even more interested in him. Looking at her expression, I felt a bit reluctant, but in the end I still heartlessly shook my head. Then, seeing Chen Miao Miao lower her head with a look full of disappointment, she looked even more pitiful. Young Jialu was a bit surprised. The Chen family is a wealthy family with a super powerful background in Beicheng. Everyone, even if they don't like Chen Miao Miao, would still try to maintain a good relationship with her. This classmate, yet he was so bold to directly reject her like that. Just who gave him that courage? Ye Chen, why didn't you add Miao Miao's contact info? Young Jialu then asked suspiciously. Lin Anyu also wanted to know. By comparison, logically, he should prefer a tall beauty like Chen Miao Miao, right? So why did he reject her? It's truly incomprehensible. Without even lifting my head, I said bluntly, because I'm afraid she will fall for me. The atmosphere suddenly became dead silent. Zhu Nianian burst into laughter upon hearing this sentence, spitting her lemon tea right out. Sorry about that. Our Ye Chen talks a bit too bluntly. He didn't mean it that way. Young Jialu hadn't met a guy so confident and unique in a long time. What he said actually made sense, making her temporarily not know how to respond at all. As for me, at this moment, I was feeling very anxious, just fearing they would ask a few more questions that I wouldn't know how to answer. So, I hurriedly stood up to clear the food tray, saying a word to Chen Miao Miao's group. We're done eating. We'll go ahead, you guys take your time eating. Just like that, the three of them left first. On the way, Zhou Nianian giggled, teasing not bad Ye Chen. Just arrived at school and someone already confessed. But your rejection was way too blunt. I glanced at her and said structural irritably, how is that even considered a confession? It was just refusing to give contact info. You're overthinking it. Zhou Nianian sighed softly, thinking to herself that your charm is so immense, yet you yourself don't even know it at all. Those love letters I need to help deliver here, who on earth do they belong to? Then ghosts? Lin Anyu, hearing our conversation, gingerly said, Chen Miao Miao is actually a good person. Her family background is also very prominent. Rejecting her like that, will it be? Although I am unilaterally on good terms with Chen Miao Miao, I have to admit she is indeed a rich young lady. After all, her family background is right there. What if her princess attitude kicks in, and she makes things difficult for him? Everything they said, I heard it all clearly, but I didn't want to reply, so I just hummed twice to brush it off. Then I changed the subject to remind her, oh right, don't forget to come to the library tomorrow. After saying that, I went back to the classroom. At this time, I still didn't know that the matter of Chen Miao Miao asking for my contact info and getting rejected had already been rumored everywhere. After eating, I returned to class and casually unlocked my phone. On the phone screen, there happened to be an incoming call from my brother-in-law. After picking up, I heard him say, Ye Chen, if you don't have classes this afternoon, you and Nianian come home for dinner. I'll pick you two up. I hurriedly replied to him, brother-in-law, there's no need. Nianian and I can just scan an electric scooter to go back. My brother-in-law texted back saying that wasn't very good. At your school, there are many rich students. I heard that normally they have cars to pick them up and drop them off, and there are even bodyguards and stuff too. Although I don't have a luxury car to drive, picking you up personally counts as saving some face for you. Hearing these words, the corners of my mouth twitched. Brother-in-law, didn't you say that as a person one shouldn't have a mindset of comparison? Why, after leaving, the message my brother-in-law hesitantly said, but others all have cars picking them up, while you two are riding an electric scooter. Won't you find it embarrassing? I immediately replied, not at all. Brother-in-law, you're overthinking school too much. My classmates are all very approachable. The message popped up on the phone, so I took the opportunity to add brother-in-law. Usually when school ends, it's peak traffic hour. Nianian and I will just scan a scooter and leave right away. Sometimes those people won't even get home, as fast as Nianian and me. Liu Yanzhou heard me say that, and only then completely gave up on the idea. All right then, you and Nianian be careful on the road. When you get home, send me a text. I texted back a single word, okay. Don't worry. After that, I hung up. Just as I returned to my seat and raised my head, I already saw Yu Peng looking at me with a face full of gossip. I was looked at by him to the point of being completely baffled, so I spoke up and asked, what's up with you? Why are you looking at me like that? Yu Peng took a sip of water, put it on the table, and giggled, asking, I heard someone got confessed to at the cafeteria today. That's right, we all know about it. Liu Jingyan heard this, and immediately analyzed it with Yu Peng very clearly. Chen Miao Miao looks pretty cute though. Following the energetic girl style, she also has a ton of guys pursuing her. Liu Jingyan nodded in agreement. Then suddenly shifting his attitude, Yu Peng continued, yet you actually had the heart to reject her. Ye Chen is your heart made of stone. Such a lively and open-minded girl. How could you bear to reject her? Hearing this, I only gave a smirk and said nothing. Then Yu Peng observed me thoroughly and teased. But then again, our Ye Chen really does have the capital to reject people. Look at this face, this physique. Truly flexing his capabilities. I glared at him, then said, all right, shut your mouth. You're really a busybody. Young Jia, and some other girls. Originally intended to stand around and gossip a bit, but hearing halfway through and finding nothing interesting, they all dispersed one after another. Finally, the afternoon classes were over. Since tomorrow is Saturday, everyone's weekend vibe was very high, and they immediately invited each other to go hang out. Junia Nian also sent me a text, saying she wanted to stroll around with her friends a bit before heading back. It just so happened that Yu Peng and Liu Jingyan also minded the rush hour now. It was peak traffic hour, so they suggested going for a stroll first. So the three of us took a stroll together. After walking for a while, Yu Peng and Liu Jingyan said they wanted to head back. I said goodbye to them and planned to go look for Zhou Nianian, just in time to see her inside the souvenir shop, up ahead. The moment I stepped through the door, Zhou Nianian already saw me and smiled at me. So I dropped by next door to buy a few cups of milk tea to take home. When I came back, Zhou Nianian saw me and immediately walked over with a smile. She linked her arm with mine and happily said, "Ye Chen, let's go, let's head home too." It was obvious she had a great time hanging out, her eyes shining bright. I handed her the milk tea and said, "All right, go share the milk tea with your friends then." After that, while Zhou Nianian was sharing the milk tea, I noticed Ji Yan and Yang Jia were both there. Before this, I had never taken a close look at Ji Yan, only knowing she was the school beauty. Today, using the excuse of giving milk tea to take another look, I had to admit, she was indeed an incredibly outstanding girl. A slender waist, skin as fair and smooth as jade, just standing there was enough to attract everyone's gaze. She really is beautiful, living up to her reputation as the widely recognized school beauty. Jigen noticed my gaze, and she turned her head to look toward me. I gave an open and honorable smile, then turned around to help Zhou Nianian hand out the milk tea. Zhou Nianian introduced me to the girls, and we exchanged a few greetings. At this moment, I accidentally looked at Zhou Nianian's hair, and suddenly I said in surprise, "Nianian, did you go buy another new hair tie?" With just that single sentence, it caused the gazes of all the girls to instantly shift toward Nianian. I looked at her helplessly and called out, "Oh, my dear ancestor, your hair ties already fill up a whole drawer. I even have a few of them still in my pocket right here. How could you ever use them all up? Furthermore, aren't hair ties just meant to tie hair? Your previous ones aren't even broken yet. Why are you starting to buy new ones again?" Zhou Nianian was driven absolutely crazy by these words of mine. She stomped her foot, but still feeling it wasn't enough to vent her anger. She gave me a kick and fiercely said, "Stop managing my business. Who asked you to care? Don't I need to save some face?" She tilted her head again to let me take a closer look, then pouted angrily and said, "I buy it because I like it." It's none of your business. It's just like how you talk as if normally you don't buy skins when playing games. Do you ever complain about having too many skins? Furthermore, when you bought skins, I didn't say anything to you either. So you better mind a pretty girl's business less. Hearing that, I shut my mouth and said nothing, only daring to complain secretly in my heart. You did say something to me, and quite a few times at that. Seeing me quiet down, Zhou Nianian gave a and walked out the door. Everyone had also finished hanging out and strolling around, so they stood at the gate calling their drivers one by one, telling them to come to the school gate to pick them up. A moment later, their drivers had all arrived, so we waved our hands to say goodbye to them. In the end, only two people were left, Huo Ruyi and Yang Jia. Out of the two, one still had to wait a bit before her family would arrive, while the other was in no rush to leave. So Huo Ruyi asked the two of us, "How are you two getting back?" "It just so happens my family is coming to pick me up in a bit. Do you want me to give you two a ride for a bit?" "No need, the two of us can just ride an electric scooter back on our own." Young Jia felt a bit reluctant. "It's fine if you ride an electric scooter, but does Ye Chen have to ride an electric scooter too?" Zhou Nianian looked at young Jia speechless. "Yeah, what else then? Could you really bear to watch Ye Chen take a taxi back, while poor old me rides an electric scooter trailing miserably behind? Could you bear that, huh?" Of course I could. Zhou Nianian gave a humph and glared at her friend. Seeing that the two girls also intended to head home, I then led Zhou Nianian away, scanned an electric scooter, and left. When the two of us rode our scooter past, Yang Jialu and Huo Ruyi, we even waved our hands to greet them. After that, Yang Jialu looked at our retreating figures as we left, muttering, "Ye Chen, how can he be so incredibly handsome, yet not have a single bit of arrogance at all? I like him so much." Huo Ruyi nodded. "Yeah, Ye Chen really respects women. He's an extremely polite guy." At this moment, not knowing what Huo Ruyi had thought of, she linked arms with Yang Jialu. I asked Zhou Nianian already. The two of them are not dating. If you like him, just pursue him. With Zhou Nianian there, our chances are still pretty high, aren't they? Oh, really? The two of them are really not a couple. Then that's great. I already liked Ye Chen to begin with. But that day, seeing him eat with Zhou Nianian, I thought the two of them were a couple. I thought I didn't stand a chance anymore. Turns out they aren't. This is so great. I'm happy to death. While young Jialu was immersed in joy, the person beside her suddenly and nonchalantly added another sentence. Jialu, don't celebrate too early. Just because they aren't now doesn't mean they won't be later. Hearing this sentence, young Jialu became gloomy again. Don't do this to me. I really like him a lot. Meanwhile, Ji Yan beside her, who was about to get into the car, looked at my gradually fading, retreating figure, deep in thought about Ye Chen. He seems to only care about Zhou Nianian. Aside from Zhou Nianian, no one else can catch his attention. Furthermore, his playfulness and coddling are only when facing Zhou Nianian. That's when he reveals it. Could it be that he likes Zhou Nianian? Thinking up to this point, an indescribable bitterness welled up in her heart. Even she herself couldn't understand why she would develop such an emotion, and could only suppress her train of thought, not wanting to think about it anymore. As for me, I was completely unaware of this matter. Finally, around nearly 8 o'clock in the evening, I arrived downstairs at my house. The two of us split up at the elevator door. The moment I pushed open the house door, a cow-patterned cat pounced right into my arms. I held the cat and took a few deep sniffs. Then I saw a little girl with pigtails slowly walking over. Seeing me holding the cat, she felt pouted in her heart, stomping her tiny feet. The nanny in the kitchen came out and saw that I was back, then smiled and said, "Ye Chen is back, huh?" I was wondering why Yao Yao was so excited. "Quickly sit down and rest for a bit. Dinner is almost ready. Aunt Lin, just go ahead with your work. No need to worry about me." Aunt Lin nodded and went back to the kitchen. I squatted down and put the cat down on the floor, then picked up the pouting little girl from the floor. The little girl contentedly wrapped her arms around my neck. I gently patted her head, asking softly, "Did you miss your uncle?" "Yao Yao missed you." Yao Yao missed Uncle so much, her sweet voice rang out. And after speaking, she leaned against me a bit shyly. The little girl's name is Qin Yao, a child of my sister Qin Zixuan and brother-in-law Liu Yanzhou, born 2 years ago. Qin Zixuan is currently working at a fund company, mainly helping others manage finances and investments. Liu Yanzhou is currently at Shengyao Entertainment Company, working as a talent manager, having 2 low-tier 4th or 5th line minor artists under his wing. Hearing this answer, I smiled faintly, then carrying Qin Yao, went straight to the sofa in the living room. As soon as I sat down, the cat also followed over, as if wanting to vie for affection, insisting on squeezing right next to my leg. I had no choice but to pet its head to comfort it, then asked Yao Yao in my arms to see if she had been good these past few days. "Did you eat properly?" "Yes, I ate a lot of rice." I was also very obedient too. Hearing the little girl's answer, I praised our Yao Yao is so awesome. "Yao Yao is the best behaved baby, right? So good, so awesome. Uncle, Mom is super fierce." The little girl took the chance to complain to me, "Mom is super fierce." Dad even helped Mom too. I looked at her amused and asked Yao Yao, "Why did Mom scold you?" The little girl hesitated a bit, but finally opened her mouth because I didn't eat veggies. I don't like eating veggies," Mom scolded me. All right, if you don't want to eat them, then forget it." A moment later, Aunt Lin set the dining table and called the two of us to come eat dinner. We were halfway through the meal when the sound of the door opening rang out. Just as I raised my head, I already saw a tall woman with fair skin standing at the door, smiling as she looked at me. "Sis, you're back. I missed you so much." Qin Zixuan saw me, patted my shoulder, and smiled. "Ye Chen, I missed you too. Go wash your hands first." I came back just in time. Qin Zixuan nodded, and after washing her hands, she sat at the dining table, taking the small bowl from my hands. While feeding Yao Yao, she asked me, "Ye Chen, have you adapted to the new school yet?" I ate a chicken wing and replied, "I've adapted pretty well. There's nothing special, really," Qin Zixuan teased with a smile. "Don't tell me there's no campus F4 drama or anything like that." I glanced at her and asked helplessly, "Sis, did you listen to brother-in-law talking nonsense again about those melodramatic cliches?" Qin Zixuan said with an extremely serious face. "In campus stories, don't they always have these plots? Like the campus F4. You like me, I secretly crush on you. You frame him. He runs, she chases. Even if he grew wings, he could hardly escape." Hearing that, I could only give a bitter smile, thinking to myself, my sister is indeed heavily brainwashed by brother-in-law. Because my brother-in-law, Liu Yanzhou, is a manager in the entertainment industry. He constantly has to choose scripts for his artists, and he has read every single genre of script. Therefore, his imagination is pretty wild. Having read too many novels, and then thinking about his handsome brother-in-law, about to enter an elite, aristocratic university to study, the more he thought about it, the more worried he became. So for this whole week, he hasn't been sleeping well, constantly tossing and turning, thinking, with that kind of school. How could anyone focus on studying peacefully? Will Ye Chen get dragged into those chaotic troubles? From the very beginning, I didn't want Ye Chen to transfer schools, either. Because of this, I nagged your brother-in-law several times. But look at the result. The moment the two of you heard the word scholarship, Just like that. Both of your eyes lit up with money grubbiness, eyes wide open like brass bells. And you even boldly declared, "Isn't this just a free, easy win from them?" Sigh, I'm truly defeated by you guys. No one in this house makes me worry less. Thinking back to that scene, I found it funny. I really have to admire brother-in-law's wild imagination. Then I said, sis, you're overthinking it. Every day I only study and work out. Nothing else happens at all. As for those absurd plots you mentioned, they don't even exist. Shin Zixuan let out a sigh of relief upon hearing me say that. Is that so? Then I'm relieved. In the end, as if suddenly remembering something, she gave me a meaningful look and asked, Hey Yechen, if any girl catches your eye, you can actually consider it a bit, you know. After all, you're in college now, so you can date. Your sister is still very open-minded about this. Hearing my sister's words, I got a bit embarrassed and defensive, saying, how could there be anyone? I don't care about dating at all. Just hearing about it sounds exhausting. What's so great about constantly clinging around a girl? Shin Zixuan didn't reply after hearing me speak, only giving me a knowing smile as she looked at me. Being stared at by her gaze to the point of discomfort, I huffily picked up a chicken foot and dropped it into her bowl. She looked at the chicken foot in her bowl, then looked at my action with a look of reproach. She only heard me pretending to be serious, saying, you can't waste food. Teaching children must be done since they are young. Yao Yao is looking at you right now. Shin Zixuan looked at little Yao Yao beside her, let out a deep, helpless sigh, and popped the chicken foot into her mouth. This was the common rule the three of them agreed on. No playing on phones or tablets in front of Yao Yao, no speaking loudly, no arguing, because children have the ability to mimic very quickly. She sees everything and will secretly learn from it. Oh, right, sis. Tomorrow, Nianian and I plan to go to the library to study. Shin Zixuan froze for a moment, wondering and asking, why not study at home? Why do you have to go out instead? I took a sip of porridge before speaking up. A classmate of mine needs to lose weight. I'm afraid that on Saturdays and Sundays he'll just binge eat completely, so I asked him out to study together. At the same time, we'll combine it with working out. Shin Zixuan nodded her head. About you helping people lose weight, Yechen. I already know about it. I also highly support it. But then again, Yechen cares about money so much. Who exactly does he take after in this trait? Thinking up to this point, Shin Zixuan's gaze suddenly became dazed. Wait a minute. It seems Yechen takes after me, right? Although I don't think this is a bad thing. But clearly, every month I transfer money to Yechen, you know. Furthermore, the money Yechen earns from his part-time jobs is also quite a lot. But why does he still give off a vibe of being very stingy, reluctant to spend money? Snapping out of it, Zixuan said, as for your business, just arrange it yourself. With Nianian there, I'm also relieved. Still the same old saying. You must clearly distinguish between the main task and minor tasks. Right now, the family is in no rush for you to earn money. I know, sis. Can you have a little faith in me? At this time, Lin Anyu got home from school, receiving warm inquiries from her relatives, and a passionate welcome. Although she was a bit awkward, it had to be said that in her heart she still felt happy. Lin Anyu shyly replied, yes, it's very good, very good. No one is bullying me. Don't worry, Mom feels like my baby looks like she lost weight. At first, when they introduced Yechen to me, I was still a bit hesitant. Who knew that in just a week my baby has already lost weight? Not at all, I've only lost 1 kilogram. It can be said it's barely any different from before. Could this be what happens when meeting your own mother? Sure enough, no matter what you become, Mom will only see that you've lost weight. That person said Yechen is very experienced. He once helped several chubby classmates lose weight, and it was super effective. During the summer break, I already intended to book him. Who would have thought his schedule was already fully booked early on? In the end, unexpectedly, he came to Beijing as an exchange student. It truly is fate with our family, sweetie. Our family is just so lucky. After saying that sentence, she looked at Lin Anyu with a very gentle and loving gaze, thinking to herself, Anyu has been an obedient child since she was little, very bashful. When she was a toddler, she was still very skinny. After a summer break in the countryside, when she came back, she was a bit chubby. Back then, my mind didn't pay much attention to the kids. By the time I realized it, the weight could no longer be controlled. Sigh. But luckily now there's Yechen supervising. It's been less than a week, yet my sweetie has already lost weight like this. Waiting a bit longer, he will definitely become a top-tier beauty for sure. Lin Anyu was afraid this weight loss attempt would fail again, not wanting to give her mother too much hope. So she threw a bucket of cold water on it, saying this time might not necessarily succeed. Even if it doesn't succeed, Mom, please don't blame him, okay? It's just due to reasons on my end. I won't blame him. We are just like registering for a membership card at their gym. Whether to go or not is entirely up to you. You can rest assured, Mom. Lin Anyu nodded. Then I'll head upstairs. Shuan waved her hand. Go get some good rest. Lin Anyu took a shower in her room, lay comfortably on the bed, and played on her phone for a while. Feeling a bit hungry, she sat up to look for some snacks to fill her stomach. Who would have thought the drawer where she usually kept snacks was completely empty without a trace? Lin Anyu was helpless and had to go downstairs into the kitchen to grab a bottle of soda. The moment she opened the fridge, she froze. In the fridge, there was only fresh milk and yogurt left, along with the yogurt bars she loved. Dispirited, she left the kitchen and dashed straight to the living room. Lin Anyu let out a deep, unwilling sigh. She opened her mouth to ask Mom, "The chocolates and snacks in my room are all gone. Did you hide them away?" Hearing her say that, Shu Wan nodded and said, "Ye Chen already told me. At school, he is in charge, and at home, Mom supervises. Snacks are a no-go now, but Mom bought some yogurt bars for you. The sweet and sour taste is also very good. If you really crave snacks too much, eat this, but you can't eat too many either." Lin Anyu was a bit upset. She had already persisted for a whole week after all. Couldn't she indulge just this once? This week was also very exhausting, you know. Around 9 p.m. After finishing dinner, I took a relaxing shower. Suddenly remembering Lin Anyu, I gave her a video call. Lin Anyu, who was watching anime, was startled out of her wits. Looking at the video call invitation on WeChat, she anxiously wondered whether to pick up or not. Thinking for a moment, she immediately took off the pajamas she was wearing and chose a short-sleeved t-shirt to put on, then stood in front of the mirror to brush her hair. Holding the phone, I slightly frowned, so I turned off the video and sent a text to Anyu. "Are you busy on this side?" Lin Anyu wasn't idle either. She tidied up the messy desk, pulled out her homework and laid it out. After clearing up everything properly, she finally replied, "I was showering just now." "What's up?" I texted back. "Today's workout hasn't been completed yet, you know." Humph. I finally got some rest with great difficulty. "Can't you let me rest a bit? Then I'll go work out in a bit." I changed my mind. Don't wait for later. If you aren't busy with anything right now, then start working out immediately. I'm afraid you'll keep procrastinating and forget. Let's video call. I'll supervise your workout. Lin Anyu was stunned when she saw this message. Then she texted back, "We even have to video call. There's no need for such trouble, right? I can just work out on my own." I firmly replied, "Before you form good habits, I need to supervise you, so don't think about procrastinating to escape." Although Lin Anyu was a bit speechless, she still obediently made the video call. As soon as the video connected, she saw a handsome face, along with a deep voice ringing out, "Anyu, can you see me?" Lin Anyu was a bit unaccustomed to it. Looking at herself in the video, she felt increasingly insecure. Then she forced a smile. "I see you. Wait for me a moment. I'll go change my shoes and go to the workout room." I nodded. After changing her shoes, she held her phone and walked out of the room. Lin Schwanking, who was reading a magazine in the living room, glanced at her younger sister and casually asked, "Anyu, it's already past 8 o'clock. Why are you still going out?" Lin Anyu looked at her sister sitting on the sofa reading a magazine, with an exquisite side profile and a graceful figure, her phoenix eyes looking at her with a half smile. She suddenly remembered before, when going to banquets, there were always people flattering and hyping her up, praising her sister as talented and beautiful, young and successful. But when it came to her, they could only praise her for looking like she had a blessed face. She wasn't stupid, fully understanding those people were just kissing up. After that, she stopped attending banquets, because the contrast was truly too brutal. I didn't want to go and embarrass myself anymore. She snapped out of it and shook her head. "I'm not going out to play. I'm going to the gym." Lin Xuanqing was a bit surprised. Normally dragging Lin Anyu to work out took a mix of coaxing and tricking. Why was she so self-motivated today? Every time she worked out, she'd lose patience in less than 10 minutes. If she stayed by her side to coax and join her, she might work out for another 5 or 6 minutes. Maybe she should go keep her company so she could hold on a bit longer. Finally, she spoke up. "Anyu, do you want me to come along?" Hearing this, Lin Anyu hurriedly shook her head and refused. "I don't want Ye Chen to know about you yet. Otherwise, he won't pay attention to me anymore. Just wait until he and I get closer. Then I'll introduce you to him later." "Sis, I'm so sorry." Lin Xuanqing nodded and didn't force it, saying, "All right, then go ahead, keep it up, Anyu." Arriving at the gym, Lin Anyu said, Then I'm starting now." She began her daily workout routine. On my end, I didn't say anything, only glancing at my phone occasionally. By the time she finished one full round, she had been working out for nearly an hour and a half. She wiped her sweat and slumped onto the treadmill exhausted, thinking to herself, today's workout volume is definitely enough, because he was watching her the whole time. She didn't want him to look down on her, so she actually powered through for an hour and a half. A whole hour and a half. Normally, she'd only work out for 10 minutes. Now even a god couldn't find any flaws in her effort. I looked up at her and suddenly spoke up. "Hey, Anyu, how about running for another half hour?" Lin Anyu's eyes widened, her face full of disbelief. No way is he insane. She had already worked out for an hour and a half today. Not only did he not praise her at all, but he also wanted her to run for another half hour. He's a straight-up demon. "I know you've worked really hard, but that's only burning off today's calories. If you can run for another half hour, you'll definitely shed the weight." Don't you want to lose weight? Seeing that she seemed a bit swayed, I pressed my advantage to keep motivating her. Every single workout is a breakthrough. Losing weight means pushing through when you are at your absolute most exhausted. That's how you get results. Actually, you can totally handle another half hour. Right, this amount of exercise is just a piece of cake for you, isn't it? She took a deep breath. Fine. Give me a 5-minute break. Then I'll run for another half hour. And so under my persuasion, she ran for another half hour. Before ending the video call, I reminded her not to forget. We have plans to head out tomorrow. Don't wake up too late. She nodded gloomily in response. And dragging her feet, she walked out of the gym. At 8 a.m. the next morning, I woke up, threw on a simple hoodie and jeans, and capped it off with a baseball hat. Looking in the mirror, I thought smugly to myself, who told me to be born with such good genes? Just a casual style up and I'm already flawless. After all, I'm supposed to be a charismatic villainous male lead. If I'm not handsome, how am I going to throw hands with the MC? Can't help it, I'm just too handsome. After finishing my daily dose of narcissism, I went downstairs to meet Joe Nyanyan. Around 9:50 a.m., the two of us arrived at the city's central library. We went up to the second floor and sat down. Then Joe Nyanyan even posted 2 photos on her moments. The caption read, "Planned to sleep in on Saturday, but got dragged by the collar to enjoy the library instead." What an absolute demon. I'm still a baby, you know. This baby is hurting so much. A while later, Lin Anyu also arrived. The 3 of them read books together at the library for a while, and by afternoon they looked for a place to eat. Lin Anyu had grown smarter by now, not daring to order too many dishes anymore for fear of being intercepted by me again. I looked at the pickled cabbage fish dish from Aunt Lin's place and smiled, saying nothing more. She definitely thought I was still craving her food, but in reality today I did the exact opposite. I just ignored her and let her eat her fill, waiting until tonight when she has to work out. After all the calorie deficit for today, she definitely has to make up for it. Thinking of this, I let out a faint chuckle, then spoke up. We'll read books until 6 p.m. this afternoon, then go to the gym to work out together. Train until around 8 p.m., then go home and rest. How does that arrangement sound? Is there a gym at Beicheng as well? I nodded and continued. That's right. Your membership card was actually made at this place. Lin Anyu nodded. After all, I have to work out anywhere. Makes no difference. I can't escape it anyway, so whatever works. At this moment, Joe Nyanyan suddenly spoke up and asked, Lin Anyu, you didn't secretly snack when you went home last night, did you? I didn't. Don't you guys know already? My mom hid all the snacks away. Even the leftover crumbs in the corner of the room. I didn't spare them, wiping them completely clean. Hearing Lin Anyu complain, I burst out laughing, then said, in the future, if you want to snack, just eat fruits. Dicing them up and mixing them with yogurt is also very delicious. You can give it a try, but you can't eat too much of it either. After speaking as if he suddenly thought of something, if you want to drink refreshments, you can also drink fresh milk or yogurt. By the time you get tired of those things, then congratulations, you can upgrade to drinking tea. It's both healthy and delicious. Lin Anyu was speechless, rolled her eyes and said sadly, I'm only just over 20 years old, you know. I haven't reached the point of drinking retirement tea yet, right? Just thinking about it feels weird. Not at all anyone can drink tea. I also quite like drinking tea myself. It's just that you aren't used to it at first. After eating, we went back to the library to read books. By the time I scrolled and saw her status update, it was already 4 p.m. That was thanks to Joe Nyanyan leaning close to my ear and asking quietly, Ye Chen, my friends, are hanging out at the Tianxin Club right next door, right now. Should we go over and hang out together later? Nyanyan, how did your friends know you were here? I posted on my moments this morning. They came and asked where I was, and I said at the city's central library. So it's such a coincidence they just happened to be here too. Therefore, they plan to meet up and hang out later. Joe Nyanyan pulled out her phone, opened her WeChat moments, and scrolled down to see a bunch of comments below. These were all mutual friends of both of them. Nyanyan, which friends specifically? Did you forget Ye Chen? The ones you know are Huo Ruyi and Yang Jialu. You know. No way it's only been a week. Yet the relationship between Nyanyan and Huo Ruyi is already this good. Why did they just go shopping yesterday? And today they are making plans to hang out again. Why do I remember that Huo Ruyi was originally very picky about making friends? Something about this is not quite right. No way. To be safe, I have to ask Nyanyan. You and Huo Ruyi, since when did you two get close? Why didn't I hear you mention it before? We only got close recently. Because we are roommates, and we often play games together too. So we just got close. Huo Ruyi looks unapproachable on the outside, but actually she's very nice. You two are roommates. My voice was a bit loud, startling both Joe Nyanyan and Lin Anyu. I smiled apologetically at them to reassure them. I smiled awkwardly at them to reassure them. Then I heard Joe Nyanyan ask in wonder, That's right. Is it that strange for us to be in the same dorm room? Ye Chen, do you not like Huo Ruyi or something? Wait, that's not right. Why did Ye Chen react so strongly to the fact that Nianian and Ruyi are sharing a dorm room? Could it be that Huo Ruyi did something to give Ye Chen a bad impression of her? The two of them didn't even have any intersection to begin with. This is truly too strange. Zhou Nianian looked at me with a completely bewildered face. Seeing this, I replied, no. Oh, it has nothing to do with Huo Ruyi. She and I aren't close at all. I was just surprised. Doesn't Huo Ruyi hang out with Ji Yan the most? Logically speaking, the two of them should have been roommates. How did she end up sharing a dorm room with you? Oh, about that. Originally, Huo Ruyi was her roommate, but because Ji Yan doesn't like sharing a room with others, Huo Ruyi transferred to our dorm room instead. Then she changed her tone and said, "So Ye Chen, do you want to come along to the club? Come on, come with me, please." As she spoke, she looked at me with an expectant gaze. In the original script, the chance encounter at the library was just a minor subplot. At the club, there probably won't be any sudden forced plot armor elements between the main lead and female lead. Today's study and workout tasks have already been properly arranged anyway, but I still spoke up. It's fine. However, we can only stay for half an hour. Even Lin Anyu, upon hearing the word club, subconsciously gripped the straps of her backpack tightly and lowered her head, muttering in a small voice, Can I not go? It's too crowded there. I'm not really used to lively places." Zhou Nian immediately let go of the arm she was holding me with to reassure her, "Don't worry. We'll just find a corner to chat. You don't need to make small talk with strangers at all. We won't force you to socialize." Lin Anyu hesitated for a moment, but finally nodded her head. The three of us packed up our books and walked together toward the Tiansheng Club. Not long after pushing the door and walking inside, we already saw Yang Jialu sitting at a row of seats by the window. Seeing us, she immediately raised her hand to greet us. On a single sofa, not far away, Ji Yan was quietly sitting alone holding a cup of warm water. Young Jialu's ears turned bright red when she saw me, hurriedly standing up to greet us. Her personality was naturally easygoing, so she actively scooted over to one side to make space for us. We had just sat down for a few minutes when Chen Miao Miao and a few female classmates walked in together. With just one glance, she locked her target onto our table and quickly stepped over to make small talk. "Senior, you guys are here too." I used a gentle tone, but with a clear attitude to reject her. "Miao Miao, I'm really sorry. Right now, all of my energy is focused on supervising Anyu's diet and weight loss workouts. I really can't split myself up to guide anyone else." This time, Chen Miao Miao wasn't disappointed or clingy like before. "So that's how it is. It's because I was too stubborn before, always wanting to stay close and bother you. In the future, I plan to find a professional fitness coach to train properly, so I won't come to bother you guys anymore." While chatting at the table, Anyu honestly explained the previous misunderstanding to me. "Before seeing how you protected Nianian and everything, we all mistakenly thought the two of you were a couple. That's why I urged Miao Miao to actively approach you. If that made you uncomfortable, I apologize to you." Hearing this, I burst out laughing and waved my hands. No need to keep it in mind. Nianian and I are childhood friends who grew up together. Since we were kids, we've been no different from family. Sitting opposite us after Ji Yan heard this sentence, the bitterness accumulated in her heart for so long suddenly vanished into thin air. She actively looked straight at me, speaking up. "About the basketball incident on the court. Before, I've always wanted to apologize to you. Back then it was because I suddenly rushed up to block the ball. The ball made your palms and knees get scratched up, causing you to suffer a lot. That's ancient history. It was just a minor injury." The sunset gradually covered the horizon. I stood up and told everyone that it was getting late. "We'll head back first. Let's hang out another day, guys." After saying that, I led Zhou Nianian outside. The two of us scanned the code to rent public electric bikes, then rode home together. Speaking of which, that troublemaker Chen Shuo who used to cause you problems has recently stopped poking his nose into other people's business as much. He saw me buried in the library every single day, studying hard, so he quickly gave up on the idea of competing for the campus heartthrob title with me. Sometime later, everyone met up again. Chen Miao Miao actively walked over to chat with us. "Recently, I've still been working out and keeping fit with a professional trainer. In my free time, I even self-studied fashion design. I plan to go abroad for further studies after graduation. This past half year, I've stuck to a strict diet, completely cutting out greasy foods and sugar. My weight has gradually dropped, and I've made so many new friends. Not long ago, I already received an independent admission spot for the nutrition major." Ji Yan held a scroll of paintings, letting out a gentle smile. "Not long ago, I won the Gold Award in the National Youth Beauty Care Competition. The wild gossip and rumors in the school have completely vanished by now. Right now, I'm living very freely." Zhou Nian shook the hair ties on her wrist, then handed over a proposal. "This time, let's win first place across all schools together. There's scholarship money, too. Your part-time job as a weight loss coach has also saved up a pretty decent amount. How about after graduation? We open a studio together for fitness and healthy eating. Looking at everyone's happy expressions right now, I also felt happy for them from the bottom of my heart. In the blink of an eye, a certain weekend afternoon arrived. Lin Anyu held high the admission letter in her hand, smiling as she looked at me. Ye Chen, look at this. This is my admission letter. If you hadn't strictly supervised me back then, I'd probably still be drowning in self-doubt by now. But now, I have finally found the goal I want to pursue for the rest of my life. Zhou Nianian stuffed the studio proposal into the palm of my hand, her eyes full of anticipation as she looked at me. In the future, let's open the shop together to help even more students who lack confidence just like Anyu, helping them find their confidence again. Deal. I slowly swept my gaze across the people around me. In my heart, I felt incredibly peaceful and warm. I spoke up in agreement. Every barrier in everyone's hearts from before had been resolved. 2485. Everyone is moving forward toward their own dreams. Everyone is moving toward their own dreams. Those who lost their way have turned back in time. Those who are kind-hearted have all had their wishes fulfilled. The gentle sunlight fell on everyone's shoulders. I nodded slightly, capturing the moment, as everyone looked at each other and smiled.